to this psychosocial support program that is meant to benefit our students in secondary school from Form 1 to Form 4 so that they can be able to discover their potential, so that they can be able to improve, focus on their studies, and get the grades that would enable them to transit to higher institutions of learning. My name is Abraham Mutual. I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a writer, and I was a teacher in a secondary school for 12 years. That means that I have a wealth of experience in the field of education, in the field of motivation, and I've assisted thousands of students to be able to discover their potential. And this program is meant to benefit you so that for the duration that you are in school, you know exactly what you need to get to achieve. The topic of my presentation is career guidance. Career guidance. And you realize that most students, if you ask a student maybe in Form 1, 2, or 3 what they want to be in future, most of them are in the dark. They may not tell you. Maybe they only say, I want to be a doctor. They only say, I want to be a nurse. But majority of them do not know exactly what they want to be in future. I always like using the example of the former president of the US, Barack Obama, who wrote a letter to his class teacher in Standard 3 and told the class teacher that someday I will be president. Which means that by the time Obama was 8 years old and he was in Standard 3, he knew exactly what he wanted to be in his future, and that was to be the president of the United States of America. And at the age of 48 years, Obama was elected as the president of America. So what it means is that even you, as a student, in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, as you sit in that class, as you work hard, as you participate in lessons, as you participate in preps, as you manage your time, you must know at each particular time what you want to be, so that you push yourself, you focus, you sacrifice, you do extraordinary things, and ultimately you achieve the goal that you want to be, and you get the best possible career that is going to put your life on another pedestal. I want to quote a famous Chinese philosopher by the name Confucius. And this is what Confucius says. Confucius says, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Very great, that's great, a great quotation. I repeat, Confucius says, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. And that's a great advice for our dear students, that if you are supposed to choose a career, you choose a career that you love. Choose a career that you'll be passionate about. And once you love a career, you are passionate in a career, you will excel in it, you'll be great in it, and the money will come. Another famous person in history by the name Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a former First Lady of the United States of America. This is what she says. Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I repeat, Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dream. Believe in your dream. Believe that you will be great. Believe that you are the answer to your generation. Believe that you will be famous. Believe that you will be, you leave a legacy, a footprint in the sands of time. And once you believe in the beauty of your dream, you will have a beautiful dream, a beautiful future, a beautiful career that even you will be proud of, your family will be proud of, the villagers will be proud of, your community will be proud of, and even the country will be proud of. Now let me I'll take this time to discuss 5 things that you need to consider when choosing your career. There are 5 things that you need to consider as you choose your career. The first thing you need to consider as you choose your career is your happiness. Your happiness comes first. The number 1 thing that you should consider while choosing your career is your happiness. Don't be pushed into becoming an accountant if you hate numbers. Some of you, maybe you are not passionate with numbers. You are not passionate with numbers. So if you are not passionate with calculation, with additions, subtractions, then you realize that you may not excel as an accountant. Instead, you need to pursue something that you are truly interested in. So if you are not passionate with numbers, you don't love numbers, you don't love additions, subtractions, then you can't make it as an accountant. You can look for something else that you are passionate in, you are interested in, that you love, and that is the career that you need to pursue. So your happiness comes first. Choose something that will bring a lot of happiness to you. The second thing to consider when choosing your career is marketability. The career that you choose must be marketable. While you prioritize your happiness, you should focus on a realistic and a viable career option. By pursuing a career that is marketable and you are good at, it will ensure that you get the opportunity to make money. You get an opportunity to be successful, to be stable, and provide for your family in future. Because sometimes even when you talk about happiness, you need to balance between happiness and stability, whereby the career that you choose, number 1, gives you happiness. At the same time, it is a career that is marketable, which means that when you finish that course at the university, you can easily be employed. And if you are not even employed, you can use the skills that you have acquired by pursuing that course to engage in self-employment. Like for example, if you did pharmacy at the university, even if you are not employed by the government, you can open your own pharmacy and then you make money. If you pursue law, for example, even if you are not employed by the government or some NGOs or other organization companies, you can just open your own law firm and you start making money. So these are the careers that we are talking about. You love the career, gives you happiness. At the same time, it is a marketable career that either makes you to be employed, is easier for you to be employed, or you can use the skills you acquired by pursuing that course to employ yourself. Number 3 is another thing you need to consider is the social environment. You also need to consider the social environment. We know we have 2 categories of people, so that you ask yourself, which of the 2 categories of people do I fit in? We have people referred to as introverts. Introverts are these people who are so quiet. They are not social. They don't talk a lot. They don't easily make friends. And then we have the extroverts. The extroverts are the social, the easygoing, the outgoing, the talkative. Those are the extroverts. And that is why when you are choosing a career, ask yourself, are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? That is why if you are an introvert, it is not possible for you, it will not be advisable for you to choose a career that involves interaction and social interaction, because you will not be able to excel. If you are an introvert, for example, you can even choose a career that just enables you to sit in an office and then you can discharge your responsibilities. So the social environment is also very critical. Another thing to consider in choosing a career is your work style. Your work style. Because I want to say that each individual has his or her working style. Some enjoy deadlines and maximum support, while others work with little guidance or no support. So where do you fit in? Do you work only when there are deadlines? Do you work only when you are being directed? Or are you the self-driven types who work with little guidance and little support? So you look at where you fall. So your work style also can determine the kind of a career that you need to pursue. And the fifth and last thing to consider is your priorities. As you think about your future career, know your priorities. How will you achieve a work-life balance? How will you achieve a work-life balance? What is the most important thing to you? You also need to ask yourself, what is the most important thing to you? Is it having kids? Like for example, if you are choosing a career that makes you to be transferred to a very far off place, maybe you will even go to work in another country, then you realize that can be able to interfere with your family stability. So your priorities also comes first. Do you live a stable family, having kids? Then the kind of a career that you choose should also be a stable career that does not require a lot of travel. Let me quote a famous person here by the name Albert Hubbard. Albert Hubbard says, "Work to become, not to acquire." Work to become, not to acquire. That is so fundamental. We know we are, at the moment, we are in a rat race where everybody is chasing money, everybody is chasing wealth, everybody is chasing property. But sometimes it is not about having wealth, it is not about money, it is not about acquisition of property. At the end of the day, you will be remembered by what you did, not what you have. Not what you have. And that is why leaving a legacy in the world is so critical. Let me just illustrate this point further. Take the example of a person like Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is considered the most famous person in the world in the 20th century. And I want to tell you, Nelson Mandela is not remembered because of the designer suit that he was wearing. Nelson Mandela is not remembered because of the car that he used to drive. Nelson Mandela is not remembered because of the size of the house that he was living in, or even the number of kids he had, or even wife. Nelson Mandela is remembered and will be remembered for hundreds of years because of the legacy that he left for the people of South Africa, dismantling and destroying apartheid that had consigned Africans into slavery. So Nelson Mandela is remembered for freeing the blacks of South Africa and ushering in a free democratic society of South Africa in 1994. So I also want to tell you, even as a student, even as you focus on the future, remember you will be remembered by your legacy, by what you do, not what you have. So choose a career that would also enable you to leave your footprints in the sands of time, to be remembered, leave a legacy, change your society, change your country. In fact, there is a story I always like giving. We are told there was a boy. This boy was 14 years old. And we are told at the age of 14 years, this boy used to tell people, when I grow up, I'm going to change the world. When I grow up, I'm going to change the world. But at the age of 30 years, he realized that changing the world was impossible. Changing the world was difficult. He was not able to change the world. So at the age of 30 years, he revised his goals downwards, and he now started saying, I'm going to change Africa. At the age of 50 years, it became impossible for him to change Africa. He realized that changing Africa was difficult, it was impossible. He again revised his goals downwards again, and he now said, I'm going to change Kenya, my country. At the age of 60 years, He also realized that changing Kenya was difficult. Changing Kenya was impossible. He again revised his goals downwards and he said, now I am going to change my village. Imagine, from changing the world to changing Africa to changing Kenya, now at the age of 60 years, he now said, I want to change my village. At the age of 70 years, he also realized that changing his village was difficult, it was impossible. And it was at the age of 71 years that he realized, when it was too late, that the only thing he should have done in the first place when he was 14 years was to change himself. And that is why I want to tell you, as my dear students, that the only thing you need to do at this particular time, when you are either 14 years, you are 16 years, you are 18 years, you are 19 years, begin by changing yourself. Once you change yourself, everything is going to change. Your performance in school will change. Your performance across the subjects will change. Your relationships with significant people in your life are going to change. And even your future is going to change. And you are going to become somebody of importance and significance in your life. So let's begin by changing ourselves. And once we change ourselves, everything is going to change. So let's look now, let me discuss how to choose the best career. Because even as you sit down listening to me, you are wondering, what do I need to do so that I can choose the best career for yourself? And there are certain things that you need to consider when choosing the best career. The first thing you need to consider when choosing your career is to assess yourself. Look at yourself in totality. What are your qualities? What are your strong points? What are your weaknesses? What are certain things that you need to improve? Which habits do you need to eliminate? Which habits do you need to reinforce and strengthen? So look at yourself in totality and ask yourself, really with your personal assessment, where do you fit? Which is the best career based on your strengths? So before choosing the best career, you must learn about yourself, your values, your interests, your soft skills, your aptitudes, in combination with your personality. You know, when you are talking of personality now, we are talking of personality types, introverts, extroverts, with your personality. So generate a list of occupations that is a good fit based on this. So you generate a list of all the possible occupations that is fitting your personality, that is fitting your assessment of yourself. Number two is make a list of occupations to explore. You combine a list of occupations into one master list. A list of occupations. You can just list randomly occupations that you may be interested in. You can say maybe law, pharmacy, doctor, becoming a doctor, becoming a teacher, becoming a journalist. You list all of them up to 20. You can even list around 20 occupations because it's just an assessment. You make a list of around 20 occupations that may interest you. So you put them in one page. All these 20 occupations that you have listed, you put them into one page and mark it. On that page, you mark it occupations to explore. On that, all the 20 occupations that you have listed, you mark on that list occupations to explore. Next, find occupations in your list that appeal to you. Maybe you have listed 20 occupations from medicine, pharmacy, engineering, mechanical engineering, maybe civil engineering, even maybe teaching. You have come to law. You have listed all the 20 of them, and then you put them into one master list, and you mark this master list occupations to explore. And the next step, after making this list of 20 occupations, the next step is to, from that list of 20 occupations, you find occupations that appeal to you. Not all the 20 occupations will appeal to you. Maybe you select around 10 occupations out of the 20. 10 occupations out of the 20 that you think appeal to you. They may be careers you know about, and which you want to explore further. Also include careers which you don't know about, but you might learn something unexpected. And this is the master list. Explore those occupations on your master list. Now, get some, that's number 3, is explore those occupations on your master list. Now get some basic information about each of the occupations on your list. Now after listing maybe around 10 to 20 occupations, now get some basic information about, like for example, if you listed law, find something about law. Basic information about law. What does it require you to become a lawyer? For example, maybe the cluster points that you require. Which subjects do you need to pass so that you qualify to become a lawyer? Which subjects do you need to pass so that you qualify to become a journalist? If you become a journalist, how do you work? What is the style of working? What is the salary scale, remuneration? Will you be successful by becoming maybe a pharmacist? So you get what we call basic information about each of the occupations that you have listed. And we are telling you will now be able to narrow your list down to only 10 or 20 options. 10 or 20 options. Number 4 is create a short list. Already you have around a list of 10 occupations. Now number 4 is create, you narrow the 10 occupations further. So you create a short list. You start to narrow down your list even more. Based on what you learn from your research, begin eliminating careers you don't want to pursue further. You should end up with fewer than 2 or 5 occupations on your short list. Your short list should contain maybe 2 to, you see you narrowed from 20 occupations, you've come to 10. Now, you narrow them now to around 2 to 5. Remove anything that does not appeal to you. Eliminate careers that have weak job outlook. Careers that have weak, that maybe are not marketable. You eliminate them. Those careers maybe you don't like, you eliminate them. Number 5, conduct informational interviews. Already now you have a list of around 2 to 5 occupations. Now you conduct information interview for people who are in those occupations. These 2 to 5. Conduct information interview. That is, you interview people who are already working in these occupations that you are remaining with, these 2 or 5. Maybe the 2 to 5 occupations remaining, maybe medicine, pharmacy, maybe law, maybe journalism. Now what you do, you go to a nearest hospital, you find a qualified doctor who did medicine. You try to interview that doctor so that he or she gives you some of the basic information about becoming a doctor, what it takes to become a doctor, and once you are a doctor, what does it involve? What is the salary scale? Can you become successful? Can you become rich by becoming a doctor? So you interview people who are already in that profession. That's what we call, you conduct information interviews. Number 6 is you make your career choice. Finally, after doing all your research, you are now ready to make your choice. You are now ready to make your choice. Pick the occupation that you think will bring you the most satisfaction based on all the information that you have gathered. Out of the 5 now, out of the 2 or 5, out of the 5 occupations you have remained, after doing all those informational interviews, you've interviewed doctors, you have interviewed pharmacists, you have interviewed a lawyer, you have interviewed maybe a teacher. Now, after interviewing now, out of the 5 occupations that you are narrowed down, now you can be able to pick one that maybe, based on all this interview, I now want to become a doctor, or I want to become a lawyer, or I want to become a pharmacist, or I want to become a teacher, or I want to become a nurse, or I want to become a mechanical engineer, or I want to become a civil engineer, or I want to become an electrical engineer. So you can now be able to choose your career. Number 7 is identify your goals. Identify your goals. Once you make a decision, identify your long-term and short-term goals. Long-term goals typically take 3 to 5 years to achieve, while short-term goals take 3 months to 3 years. An example of a long-term goal includes completing your university education. Of course, let's say, for example, you have decided that you want to become a doctor. Once you have decided that you want to become a doctor and you're in secondary school, now you know, for me to qualify to do medicine, I must get an A in mathematics, I must get an A in English, I must get an A in chemistry, I must get an A in biology, I must get an A in another subject like geography. That's the goal. Already you set a goal. And maybe overall middle score should be an A minus and above. But there's these subjects, cluster subjects that you need to get straight A's. So those are so you give yourself goals of what you need to do so that you can be able to qualify to do medicine. Number 8 is write a career action plan. You write a career, number 8, and last one is you write a career action plan. A career action plan is a document that lays out all the steps you will take to reach your goals. You want to go on, your ultimate goal is to pursue medicine, for example, or to pursue pharmacy, or to pursue electrical engineering, or to pursue law. That will be your goal, your ultimate goal. Now, if your goal, for example, is to pursue medicine, now you come up with an action plan. You're in Form 2, or you're in Form 3, or you're in Form 4. What does it take you now in Form 4 to qualify to pursue medicine at the university? You are come up with an action plan. That this is what I'm going to do because I need to get a straight A in mathematics. This is what I'll be doing in mathematics. Maybe I'll be doing 20 questions in maths every day, consulting a maths teacher every day, group discussion in mathematics every day. This is what I need to do in chemistry so that I get a straight A in chemistry. This is what I need to do in English, maybe writing a composition every day. This is what I need to do in biology. This one I need to do across the board in all the subjects so that ultimately you get an A minus and above, and in those cluster subjects like English, mathematics, chemistry, physics, biology, you get straight A's. So you come up with a career action plan. There is somebody called Abraham Lincoln, was the 16th American president and is considered the greatest American president of all times. And this is what Abraham Lincoln says. Abraham Lincoln says the best way to predict your future is to create it. So important, so fundamental statement. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Is to create it. Which means that even if you are sitting in that Form 1 class, you are sitting in that Form 2 class, Form 3 class, Form 4 class, you are in that school, you have a responsibility to create the future that you want. The secondary school environment is giving you the opportunity to create your future. When you work hard, you increase your chances of excelling in your future. You work hard in all the subjects. You manage your time. You consult your teachers, group discussion. You come up with a good routine to follow. You stick to your timetable. Those are the processes that increases your capacity to do well. And once you do well, then you realize that you increase your chances of doing well in your future. Now let me discuss the most marketable degree courses in Kenya. The most marketable degree courses in Kenya. What are the most, and I will list from the most important to the least important. The first one is Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery. Any degree course relating to medicine and surgery will give you a job anywhere in Kenya, even abroad. If you have a degree in medicine, you can even go to London, you get a job as a doctor. You can even go to Australia, you get a job as a doctor. You go to Canada, you are in Kenya, you cannot be jobless with a degree in medicine. And you see the starting scale. The starting scale salary for a doctor in Kenya is almost 150,000 and above. And you are assured of a job, even in Kenya or abroad. And also you can double up, you can be employed, and you can also open your own private practice, a side hustle, private practice. You are earning a salary with the government or the county government, and you're also still getting money with your private practice. So all doctors are very stable, very successful people. And that's why medicine is considered one of the most prestigious careers. The second most, another career is Bachelor of Architecture. Bachelor of Architecture. And I want to tell you, unemployment rate for architects in Kenya is very low. Rarely do you find architects who are unemployed. All of them are employed, all of them are in private practice, all of them are making good money, all of them are very stable, all of them are very successful. You need to consider applying for this course, especially if you score A- in KCSE and you meet the required cluster points. If you are able to score A- and above, and maybe you meet the required cluster points, you can actually be able to apply for a Bachelor of Architecture. And you see, architects are the ones who are designing buildings. You can even, you see the advantage of architects is that sometimes you are paid on a percentage on the value of the building that you design. If you design a multi-story building of worth 500 million Kenya shillings, you will earn 10% of the value of that building, and 10% of 500 million is around 50 million. So you can imagine you designing one building worth 500 million and you get 10%, which is 50 million. Just one building is giving you 50 million as an architect. Already you become a millionaire just designing one building. So architecture is also a very prestigious profession to pursue. Number 3 is becoming a pilot or piloting. The salary scale for a pilot in Kenya is between 400,000 to 2 million Kenya shillings per month. If you become a pilot, you can earn between 400,000 to 2 million shillings per month. That's very good money. That's very good money. But I also want to tell you that pursuing this course of becoming a pilot is also very expensive, and in Africa it is offered in South Africa. I don't know whether we are offering it in Kenya. Maybe what Kenya is offering is just the basics, but for advanced training in piloting you may need to go to South Africa. Number 4 is actuarial science. Actuarial science is another prestigious career to pursue. If you are good in mathematics and you score a good grade like an A- and above in KCSE, you should consider pursuing actuarial science. This is a good course in terms of market and remuneration. Actuarial scientists are always, they work in insurance companies, they work in banks, they work in big companies, and they are paid very highly. They deal with numbers, they deal with figures, and they are paid highly. Number 5 is a Bachelor of Computer Engineering or Computer Science. Bachelor of Computer Engineering or Computer Science. This course is in high demand. Computer engineering and computer science is in high demand. Apart from being employed by big corporations, computer scientists can earn millions of money, millions of Kenya shillings, by developing software programs for various organizations. Once you become a software engineer, a computer engineer, apart from being employed by big corporations like Safaricom, employed by banks, employed by government ministries, you can also have a side hustle where you also design programs that can be used by schools, learning institutions, can be used by banks, can be used by companies. They can be using your programs, and one program can fetch you around 500,000. Another program can fetch you, which are a bit complex, 5 million shillings, 10 million shillings, one program. And you see, by becoming a computer scientist, just selling one program, and you're getting millions. Another career worth pursuing is electrical, mechanical, or civil engineering. Electrical, mechanical, or civil engineering. This career path has enormous market opportunities. There is an enormous market opportunities for these engineering courses. Practically every field needs engineers. Every field needs engineers. From aerospace to automotive to telecoms to processing industries. All of them require engineers. All these companies you see, all these processing companies we see, all these manufacturing companies we see, all these companies dealing with manufacture of motor vehicles, manufacture of planes, road constructions, bridge constructions, oil companies, all of them require engineers. KPLC company, all of them, they require, even Safaricom, all of them, they require engineers. Another career course worth pursuing is Bachelor of Law. A Bachelor of Law. If you are very persuasive and can win a case, you need to have a good language. If you are very persuasive and can win a case, you will make millions from clients. You will make millions from clients. Law is one of the most prestigious courses in Kenya. In Kenya, you are required to pursue a law at accredited university. We have these accredited universities that have been allowed by the government, by the Ministry of Education, to offer law courses in law. And once you finish your degree in law, you are also required to pursue a diploma in law from the Kenya School of Law. After finishing your degree, your law degree, before you are allowed to practice law, you are also supposed to go to Kenya School of Law, where you take a diploma, a postgraduate diploma of 1 year, and then you qualify now and be certified and registered to practice law in Kenya. And of course, we have very big, prominent lawyers in Kenya, the likes of James Orengo, the likes of Katua Kiken, the likes of Mutula Kilonzo Jr., the likes of all these lawyers. All these lawyers are famous. And all these lawyers, like for example, one case, if you represent a company, for example, like a company like a bank, and you win a case, or even you not necessarily winning, you can win or you can lose, but they are going to pay you. Sometimes you are paid 50 million in one case, you are paid 10 million in one case, 5 million in one case, 2 million in one case, but it also depends on your reputation. It depends on the reputation that you build in your career. So law is also a very prestigious career. Another career worth pursuing is Bachelor of Pharmacy. Bachelor of Pharmacy. This degree course will prepare you to become a pharmacist. Once you become a pharmacist, you will work with Kenya Medical Supply Agency, or KEMSA. You can also work with the Ministry of Health or any other health facility. So you can be employed by the government once you become a pharmacist. Besides, you also have the opportunity to open your own pharmacy and start making millions. You can open your own pharmacy because you are assured with opening a pharmacy, people are always getting sick. People will always get sick. There is no time that people will stop getting sick. So once you have your pharmacy, sick people will be coming to your shop, to your pharmacist, and they will be purchasing medicine. Another career worth pursuing is Bachelor of Software Engineering. Software Engineering. This is a hot cake degree course in Kenya. It's a hot cake degree course in Kenya. As a software engineer, you will get numerous opportunities and job offers in Kenya, which include, there are certain opportunities. Once you are a software engineer, you'll be dealing with designing apps for companies. You design apps for companies, and you can also do software-related duties at the top companies like Safaricom, Kenya Telecom, IBM, and leading companies. You start designing apps. Like for example, even Facebook is an app that was designed by this current billionaire. Is now the third richest man in the world, Mark Zuckerberg. He's only 30 years. And we are told Mark Zuckerberg, when he was a second-year student at Harvard University, when Mark Zuckerberg was just a second-year student at Harvard University, we are told he came up with an idea. He came up with a brilliant idea. And we have a story that says, when Mark Zuckerberg came up with this very brilliant idea, when he was only a second-year student at Harvard, he invited 5 of his friends to his university hostel. to his room so that they can be able to brainstorm on this idea. And we are told out of the 5 friends that Zuckerberg invited, only 2 turned up. Only 2 came. 3 of them just did not turn up. And we are told the 2 friends who turned up, they sat down and they came up with Facebook. And the 2 friends who came are now billionaires. So sometimes when you have an opportunity, try to turn up. When your friends call you for an opportunity, turn up. You may not know what the future holds for you. So you can actually design apps when you become a software engineer. Another career course worth pursuing is nursing. This is another great course to pursue. Many countries such as Canada, Australia, and Great Britain are in need of highly skilled and trained nurses. In fact, I have a friend of mine who is a nurse in Australia. He's the wife of a friend of mine. He's a nurse in Australia. She was telling me that when she does overtime during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, just as a nurse in Australia, when she does her work overtime on a Saturday and Sunday, she will earn an equivalent of Kenya shillings 150,000. Only 2 days, Saturday and Sunday overtime, she gets 150,000 Kenya shillings. So which means if she does this overtime for the 4 weeks in a month, by the end of the 4 weeks in a month, overtime alone, she will earn 600,000 Kenya shillings. And that is on top of the salary that she is going to earn. So plus the salary, she will be taking home in a month close to 1 million Kenya shillings as a nurse in Australia. So we are telling you, if you feel like you want a very good marketable course that will bring you a lot of money, you can also consider taking nursing. And then the opportunities worldwide is so immense, opportunities are so enormous, and you can go to any other country with a degree or diploma in nursing and you begin getting money. Another course that you can also pursue is Bachelor of Commerce. A Bachelor of Commerce. This is another great course. If you are admitted to pursue this course, make sure you enroll for CPA courses to increase your competitiveness. If you go to any of the universities, University of Nairobi, Egerton, to pursue Bachelor of Commerce, during your spare time or holiday, try to pursue maybe CPA courses. You can even pursue up to CPA-K. And then once you have CPA-K and you have your Bachelor of Commerce, you combine the 2 qualifications and you become so marketable. Another career to pursue worth pursuing is web design and graphic designs. Web design and graphic design. And I want to tell you that the world has moved on to social media. Everybody now is in social media. Everybody is in Facebook. Everybody is in WhatsApp. Majority of the people are in Instagram. People are in all these social media. So every company or every business is striving to have an internet presence. Like for example, if everybody is in Facebook, over 3 billion people in the world are in Facebook. So if you have to get these 3 billion people to advertise your products, to reach these 3 billion people, you should be in Facebook. You should be in WhatsApp and advertising your products on WhatsApp. So that's why we are saying the internet is where people meet, transact business, exchange ideas, and expand their social network. So having skills in creating and designing websites is a big bonus. So every company, every institution, every school now must have their website where they bring everything that they have in that social platform, so that every feature that they have, they display there, so that with a click of a button, you can know everything about a particular institution. Another career worth pursuing is journalism and mass communication. Journalism and mass communication. If you have excellent skills and talents, excellent skills and talents in communication, in writing, you will make it big in this field of journalism. Some top journalists in Kenya earn over $1 million shillings every month. We have famous journalists like Betty Chalo, Maina Kageni, Chef Koinange. They take home almost 2 million Kenya shillings per month. A single month, a top journalist is taking home 1 million shillings, 1.5 million shillings, 2 million shillings per month. Even the president is not earning 2 million shillings. The president is earning around 1.6 million shillings. So even a top journalist like Maina Kageni is earning more than what the president is earning. So journalism is also another good career, but once you choose journalism, ensure that you excel in it. Let me tell you, sometimes it is not even about the career that you choose, but your ability to be the best in that career, ability to excel in that career, and you can be able to make money. Another course that you can also be able to pursue is Bachelor of Education, Science and Arts. Maybe Bachelor of Education in Science or Bachelor of Education in Arts. The beauty of this career is that no matter how long you become jobless, you are always assured of employment by the government through the TSC. Over time, the salaries of teachers have continued to increase, making them to be at par with most civil servants. So teachers these days are earning good money. In fact, the starting gross salary of a teacher is almost 60,000. Gross salary plus allowance, basic plus allowances, they get almost 60,000 and above. And then maybe they get housing from the school. So their expenditure is also very minimal. And that's why you see teachers are now driving motor vehicles, teachers are building very good houses, teachers are buying plots, teachers are able to get their children in good private schools. It's because now teaching is a good course now that is assuring you of getting good money. And also the beauty with teaching is that you can graduate and maybe you can be employed under POM terms, Board of Management terms in various schools, maybe for a period of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You can go for interviews and then you can be absorbed by the TSC. You will always get a chance, regardless of how long you stay without being employed. You are assured that after some time, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you can be employed by the TSC. So note that this is just the list of marketable courses that I have indicated is not exhaustive. It is not exhaustive. We have other marketable courses which are not listed because of time. And then lastly, what to consider when choosing optional subjects. What are you supposed to consider when you are choosing optional subjects? And you see most schools, the students choose their optional subjects in Form 2. Because in Form 1 you come and do all the subjects. You can do even 11 subjects. But in Form 2, second term, that is when you begin choosing your optional subjects. So there are certain things that you need to consider when we are choosing optional subjects. The first thing you need to consider, because even the optional subjects that you choose also is also directing you to the future career that you are going to undertake. Either you are going to the science field or the arts field. So there are certain things that you need to consider when you are choosing optional subjects. Number one, don't select immediately. Don't select immediately. Do research to find out which subjects is best fit for you. Seek guidance from teachers. Sometimes even when it reaches a point where you need to choose optional subjects, that is why even in most of the schools, the day the Form 2 students are supposed to choose optional subjects, even their parents are supposed to come to school. It's a very important day where the parents come to school, the teachers, the subject teachers will be there, class teachers will be there, so that the parents and the teachers can actually be able to assist you, can also bring their inputs to advise you on the most appropriate subject to choose. Another thing to consider is interest areas. Choose a subject that you have interest in. This will enable you to excel in it. So when you are choosing a subject, like for example, if you are choosing a humanities subject and you are considering between CRE and history, you are considering which one do you choose between CRE and history, or even between, let's say, history and geography. which subject do you choose between geography and history? What you should consider is your interest. That is, between geography and history, which one do you like? Which one do you like between history and geography? If you find that you like history, then you choose history, because there is a more likelihood of you doing well in a subject that you like. Another factor to consider when choosing an optional subject is most scoring. If you are scoring highly in a subject, then it is a good reason to select it. For example, if you have to choose between agriculture and business studies, these are what we call applied subjects, because you need to choose one applied subject. Maybe between agriculture and business studies, which one should you choose? So one of the things that you need to consider is, since you had that Form 1, you'll be doing agriculture, you'll be doing exams in agriculture and business studies. So you look at your performance over the last 2 years and ask yourself, between agriculture and business studies, which of the two have you been doing very well in an exam? Maybe you have been scoring highly in agriculture compared to business studies. So you choose agriculture because you've been doing very well in agriculture. So you consider the subject that you've been doing very well. Another factor to consider when choosing optional subjects is, don't choose a subject because the top student in the class or majority of the students chose it. You know, some students, they just go with the wind. They just go with the majority. They are not making their own independent choices. Maybe they sit down and they find that everybody has chosen CRE. Majority have chosen CRE. And maybe you don't like CRE. But because almost everybody has chosen CRE, majority have chosen CRE, even though you don't like CRE, then you choose CRE. Or everybody or majority are choosing agriculture. And maybe you prefer business studies, but you're asking yourself, since majority have chosen agriculture, let me choose agriculture because majority have chosen agriculture. And maybe you are not even doing well in agriculture. Maybe you don't even like agriculture, you like business studies. But because every majority are choosing agriculture, you end up choosing what majority is choosing. You are not supposed to do that. You are not supposed to choose a subject just because the majority of the students in the class have chosen it. Choose a subject you are scoring highly, choose a subject you have interest in, and you should also take into consideration the views and advice of your teachers and your parents as you are choosing that subject. And then lastly, you consider the boosters. These are the subjects that you are performing very well and may boost your overall grade in the final exams. Let me tell you, one of the things you need to consider when choosing optional subject is, most of these optional subjects are supposed to be boosters. They are supposed to boost your grade, your overall grade. Because you are doing so well in them, you can easily get A's in them. You can easily get an A- or a straight A. So that if the other subjects you are getting a C, you are getting a B- or a B, then you choose subjects you can get referred to as boosters, where you can get a straight A or A-, so that they can be able to push your mean score very highly, and then you can be able to do well. And then lastly, let me quote a famous writer by the name Morton Ball. And this is what Morton Ball says. Morton Ball says, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door, which means you need to create your own opportunity. Opportunities may not come, but create opportunities by building doors so that people can be able to knock. Thank you very much and be blessed.